technology, entertainment, and design, or TED Talks, are global conferences that bring big ideas to the world. One of the most memorable moments was 6 years ago when Bill Gates released mosquitoes into a crowd in support of malaria awareness.
Talks like these get millions of hits online. 60 Minutes went inside the world of TED Talks for this Sunday's broadcast. Here's a preview.
I'd never heard of TED, and I didn't know what a TED Talk was.
But Bryan Stevenson was exactly the sort of person the people at TED wanted. He was an attorney who'd spent years trying to reform the criminal justice system. They thought he'd have a lot to say. He said yes. Then he remembered a serious conflict on his calendar.
It was scheduled 2 weeks before I had an argument at the U.S. Supreme Court, and I told one of my young staffers, somebody named Ted wanted me to come and do a TED Talk, and I told them no, and my staffer went crazy. I said, what are you talking about? You have to do a TED Talk.
And what did they say, though, to convince you?
This is really a big deal. It's an incredible platform. You should absolutely do it. Everybody watches TED Talks.
Being here at TED and seeing the stimulation here.
In March of 2012, Bryan Stevenson took the stage at the annual TED conference in Long Beach, California. He was one of more than 60 speakers that week.
We have a system of justice in this country that treats you much better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent. Wealth, not culpability, shapes outcomes.
You're an inspiring person. Thank you so much.
The person who put Bryan Stevenson on the stage was Chris Anderson, the man who runs TED. He chooses the speakers, he hosts TED conferences, and he decides which talks go online.
There are numerous brilliant people out there, and they've come up with something really important. And so part of the way we see our role is to help them make their knowledge accessible.
It's a campfire in part, isn't it?
It is a campfire. Someone stands up, everyone's eyes are upon them. They tell a story.
And Charlie Rose is here. Thanks for being here, Charlie.
Pleasure again.
So what is it about the TED Talks that attracts such a huge global audience?
Well, they're online. That's what it is. and what happened is that they began having people come. It started as like an opportunity for people, not necessarily famous people, to talk about their passion and what it might be and their expertise. And then when Chris bought it, he put it online, and all of a sudden, people found a place where, for free, they could go listen to interesting people for 18 minutes at a time, talk about their work, their passion, their research, whatever it might be.
Did Chris tell you what he looks for before he chooses one of these talks to put it online?
He looks for something he thinks will be compelling to an audience, and he wants personal stories. I mean, the fact is that every one of them is not just the ideas that they're communicating, but it is whatever the personal aspect that went into them doing the particular thing.
And we know, Charlie, as you mentioned, that this attracts a huge global audience, but how does it impact the speakers who actually
It's a very good question. It has a tremendous impact. First of all, everybody with more than 1 billion people coming to them, it means that they have a reputation, so people, if they want to get on the lecture circuit, if they have an idea that people might be interested in, it can change their life.